Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby. I'm with Fitness is Medicine, and today we're going to talk about balance. So there are some very simple things that we need to talk about, and I talk about with many of my clients at the very beginning of balance training in general that I haven't really mentioned in my videos. I do a lot of balance activities, a lot of balance challenges throughout my videos, throughout my workouts, even when you're doing other exercises, things like that. But there are little things that you can work on throughout your day that will make your balance better and to think about when you're doing your daily activities. So first of all, today we can start with no shoes. It's a good thing to think about all areas of your feet, and that's easier to do without shoes on sometimes. Plus, it can be a little more challenging to do balance exercises without shoes because you don't have that extra supportive platform of your shoe. So there are a few things that I start off with when I start off with a new client when I'm talking about balance. And first of all, it is using your entire foot to stand on. So you've got your toes and your heels and the middle of your foot. You've got everything. Many people either stand on their heels or stand on the outsides of their feet, or they stand, you don't use your whole foot to stand. And that can help immensely with balance when just starting there. So just stand right now and think about spreading out your toes, putting all your weight through all of your foot, both sides. It's very subtle, and it's not something only you can think about right now when you're doing it, but you can put your weight through each of your toes, engaging all of those muscles to help you stand. Like I said, sometimes people just stand back on their heels, and that's, that can be a balance challenge. Depending on how you stand on your feet, it can make a big difference in your balance. The next thing on up the chain is your knees. So if you ever find yourself standing with your knees locked, you're challenging your balance as well. Like, you want to engage your quads. So instead of saying don't lock out your knees, think engage your quads. So you don't have to, walk around in a squat or anything like that. But there's a big difference between standing with your knees locked out and then just kind of releasing the joint. So it's nice and loose standing, engaging your quads a little so that you've got that balance working all the way up. So when you are walking around, or when you're, importantly most, just standing, not locking out those knees. So engaging your quads, using your entire bottom of your foot, using your entire foot, and then also your base of support. So right now my base of support is very narrow, making it harder to balance. So you may find this may be something you can kind of work on, maybe throughout the day and going forward. How do I stand? If you stand with your feet hip width apart, feet engaged, knees engaged, you're going to be way more balanced than if you stand with your feet really close together. This right here could be a balance challenge to start with, just standing with your feet really close together, because it's harder to, stand on that narrow base of support. So give yourself a little bit wider base of support. Use your toes, all of your foot, unlock your knees, engage those quads, and then on up, we're going to talk about engaging your core a little more, right? So I talk about these things with lots of exercises. Engage your core, pull your shoulders back, pull your head back. It becomes very common sometimes people want to look down at their feet, and that throws your balance off. It makes sense, you want to see what's in front of you, but if you could pull those shoulders back, pull like you've got a rope coming out the top of your head, and then look forward. Yes, of course, always look forward and see what's in front of you, but maybe a little bit more with your eyes downcast, looking a little bit further in front of you. So all the way up the chain, a little bit wider base of support, using all those muscles, engaging those quads, keeping your core nice and tight. So if you're finding yourself, if you're standing somewhere or you're uneasy walking across something, think about engaging that core. So when it may be hard for you to envision that, but if you think about someone going to maybe sucker punch you in the gut, then you would kind of guard against that, right? If someone was coming at you, that's what I want you to think about, is just that quick engagement, or like if you cough, and that kind of quick engagement. So all of those things, and then when you're walking, it adds all of those things together. You can think about using your entire foot to walk instead of maybe some people walk on the outsides of their feet. So you can start to envision these things as you become more proficient at it. Like I said, it's going to be something you're going to need to think about. If you touched on any of those things that I mentioned and you're like, oh, that's what I do. I stand with my feet really close together, or I stand back on my heels. And so some people have this really kind of fear of falling backwards because they kind of stand on their heels without even really realizing it. So all of those things combined to start with, you can think about throughout your day. And then also when we're doing balance activities in these workouts. So let's just do a couple things, and then we will continue the balance challenges throughout all of my workouts. But like I said, standing with your feet really close together can be a #1 balance challenge. This is kind of where you start if you are having a lot of challenges. The next would be to move your feet apart just a little bit, keeping that narrow base of support, just a little bit of a staggered stance. So your toe of your foot in kind of the arch of your other foot, standing like that. If that feels okay, you can even stagger it a little further. And then I talk about these in my workouts as well. This is where we can start with other balance challenges that we're doing with other exercises, things like that. Then you can bring it into a tandem stance, so heel to toe, standing. Now, think about all of those things that I mentioned in the beginning of the video here. Use your toes, use your heels, engage your quads, so don't have your knees locked, tummy tight, balance. All of those things can really help you be able to stand in these positions. If this is okay, you could try standing on one foot, and that takes it all to a whole nother level. This takes your hips into account quite a bit as well. So you're going to use your toes, using all the bottom of your foot. Your knee is not locked out here, it's engaged. It's smoothie time upstairs, can you hear that? And then tummy tight. Tummy tight can make a big difference in your balance overall. So these are little things you can do. You can do these while you're waiting for your tea to warm up, while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, while you're waiting, there was always something we're standing and waiting for. Maybe while you're in the grocery line and you're at your cart, that's a great thing to hang on to, and you can work on these things with your hands just right over your grocery cart. If you can stand on one foot and it feels okay, you're doing it and it's okay, try looking sideways with your eyes. Just your eyes to start with. You can look up, look down, look sideways. If that feels like a big challenge, work on that. These are really great ones that you can do when, at your kitchen counter, while you're waiting for the water to boil, while you're, there's a lot of times when you're standing and kind of waiting and not having something to actively do. So your other foot, try that. It's always more challenging on one foot than the other. One side than the other always has a little bit more challenge, and that's okay. Looking around. If you can do that without too much difficulty, try turning your head. So you're always standing where you've got something you can grab, right? Using your entire foot. If you're doing this in a tandem stance, you could try this too. Turning your head side to side. All of that works on your proprioception and your balance as well. I'm not going to go into other balance exercises today. I'm going to continue to do those balance challenges in my workouts. These are tools you can use every day. You can use them right now, envisioning, how do I stand? How do I lock my knees? Do I need to stand with my feet further apart? Think about all of those things throughout your day. It's going to be a lot to think about if you're doing a couple of these things and need to change them. Okay, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And as always, have a great day. Enjoy the other workouts. I'll come back with some more workouts later this week. Thanks, everybody.